Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to strike the last.
Gentleman is recognized.
Thank you. Now more than ever, we find ourselves in a dire situation in this country where we lack the infrastructure and the support systems that are needed to make sure every working family has access to paid family and medical leave. The barriers that women of color face in this country are extremely concerning, and COVID-19 has only exacerbated them. This public health crisis has thrown our nation's inequities into sharp focus and illustrated the deadly effects of unequal access to paid family and medical leave. According to the National Partnership for Women and Families in Nevada, even unpaid leave under the Federal Family and Medical Leave Act is inaccessible for 60% of working people. That's unacceptable, and we will fix it. The COVID-19 pandemic is having long-term consequences on Nevadans, their health, caregiving needs, and economic stability. Women, especially Black, Latina, Asian American, Pacific Islander, and Native American, were hit hardest by pandemic closures in Nevada, working in many of the most affected industries and bearing the brunt of increased caregiving without support from schools or childcare. At the end of 2020, Nevada's labor force had lost 40,000 workers, and 6 times as many women were unemployed than the previous year. If nothing is done, women nationwide will lose $64.5 billion in wages each year from reduced labor force participation and lower work hours. This is true for Tamika Henry, who is an ambassador at Make It Work Nevada and has become a national advocate with the Paid Leave for All campaign. Tamika's story is very similar to many American women throughout the country. Tamika's husband has a disability that has often landed him in the hospital over the years. With Tamika being his caregiver, she has had to take off work to care for him. For some Americans, this wouldn't be an issue. But like so many, Tamika's job did not provide paid family leave. What did this mean for Tamika? It meant Tamika had to make the tough decision of maintaining her job and livelihood or caring for her sick husband. Tamika made the decision to take off work to care for her husband, while also having young children at home. That daunting decision eventually led Tamika to losing her job and losing nearly $200,000 in earned wages. Let me repeat, Tamika lost nearly $200,000 in earned wages, all because she did not have access to paid family and medical leave. To add on to this unfortunate reality, Tamika and her 2 daughters contracted COVID-19 last December, forcing her to be out of work and without pay for an additional 30 days. At that point, Tamika had to worry about paying for bills, putting food on the table, all while she was fighting to stay alive from COVID-19. This is who I'm fighting for. Tamika and so many other American women in this country who do not have access to paid family and medical leave. The challenges with COVID-19 and the challenges working families have been absorbing for many years have brought us to this inflection point. My colleagues on the other side want to talk about everything, but they won't talk about what's actually in this universal paid family and medical leave. Why? Because it helps you. They want to distract onto other issues because they know this will make your life better. To Tamika Henry, Make It Work Nevada, and the millions of Americans, particularly women, that have tirelessly advocated for universal paid family and medical leave, I have heard you. This committee has heard you, and we will vote today to get us one step closer to providing universal paid family and medical leave to every working American in this country, and to make it so that no one else has to lose a job or lose hundreds of thousands of dollars in earned wages to care for themselves or a sick family member. That is a false choice. We are a great nation, and that means making sure that we stand up for the American worker and the American family. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, to you and to your staff on the Worker and Family Support Subcommittee for getting us to this point. Let's get this done and get it over the finish line.
I thank the gentleman.